What's up, writer friends? Today I'm going to show you how to use Deckle to plan and write your novel, and how to export your manuscript so that it looks cool and professional, even if graphic design and stuff like that are not in your skill set like they're not in mine. But to be honest, Deckle is really easy and intuitive to use, so don't worry, you don't need to be taking notes from this tutorial. And by the way, if you're new here, hi, I'm Katri, I'm your new writing bestie. And this is Protagonist Crafts. It's the place for people who are kind of obsessed with that whole writing thing. And we talk about all kinds of writing here, not just software. But anyway, let's begin. So when you open Deckle, you can obviously open a previous project. If you had one, it would show here as well. So let's start a new project. So what shall we call it? Let's just say test project. I know, very unique and imaginative. And then you need to just choose a place where it goes. I'm just going to put it on my desktop. Right, and then we click Create. Deckle also supports importing files from other software like Obsidian and Scrivener, but you'll want to check the website for the most current information on that. They're always updating things, so at some point, even this video will become outdated. I've got everything on dark mode on my computer, but for the purposes of this video, let's change it to light mode. So this logo here, it's where you'd click if you needed to click File. So here's where you find the usual options. And you've got the settings here, and then you've got a few theme options here. It only concerns what Deckle looks like. These are not the formatting options. We'll look at those later. You can also zoom in and out, and even change the background image, user interface fonts, or you can build your own theme to fit your own preferences and your own eyes. So let's just save that. Deckle has a lot of really cool features, but you don't need to use all of them for every writing project. So maybe you're writing this sprawling fantasy novel now, and you might want to use all of them, like the timeline and all the parts of the codex. But maybe next time you're writing something a little more simple and you don't use all of them. And maybe this time you want to focus on creating character profiles, but you're not as focused on creating, say, a timeline, but the next time might be different. So don't let yourself get overwhelmed. You really don't need to use all of the features. So this is where your writing would happen. So you've got draft here. And when you click here, you can have a chapter and a scene, also a note, and you can also, if you've got, say, part 1 or part 2, you can have a part divider there. And here's where you would import your existing documents. You've also got the options for front matter and back matter, so that you can really have a professional looking formatting, but we'll look at those in a minute. Now you've got chapters here, and I wouldn't normally recommend that you even think about chapters when you're just writing your first draft. And you can nest these under each other, so you can really decide how you're going to organize your writing, what is going to fit your personal workflow and your unique brain the best. But let's just put a chapter here. Let's give it some kind of a nifty name. Everything changes. Yes, very, very unique. So here's your chapter. You could start writing here. But let's just say you've actually got the scenes. And here, this is its own thing, but let's move it under the chapter. Oh no, come on. There. So you can see it is nested under it. So now you got your new scene. But when you go here, it tells you content here appears before scene 1. Leave blank to start there directly. So that's good to know. If you were to write something here, it would go before this. So you can use that as you wish, and you can just decide not to write anything there. But if you were writing a non-fiction book, for example, you could use this to sort of describe what you're going to talk about in this chapter, and then have the scenes as the actual subjects or something. So, like I said before, very flexible, and it's easy to adapt it to your projects and your workflow. So let's call this Arrival, right? And then we could write there. So here you've got your research section. So let's open it and let's see what you can add in there. So you can also have like notes and stuff in here and organize it like you would. Your folders and chapters and scenes for some reason. But I'm really glad you can now have notes in there. You didn't used to be able to have them here. So it's nice you can just, some thoughts. Oh no, And then you could just, if you find some facts that you need to include, you can, write them there. Remember the turnips. Remember 10 turnips. Oh, yes, remember 10 turnips. That's exactly what I meant to write. You can also import markdown folders or web pages. So you could maybe, if you have a Wikipedia page that you don't want to just copy and paste, you can have the link here. So even if the page changes or disappears, you'll still have it. Let's see how it works. So I'm just trying out a link that goes to my own website. Let's see what it makes of that. So I tried Wikipedia earlier, but for some reason it didn't work. So yeah, so you can see a website. Very useful. I don't know why the Wikipedia link didn't work, but maybe it's something that will be resolved in the future. And I will show you later how you can make it really easy to see all this stuff here while you write. Let's just add an image now. Here I used this before for my review, I think. So we've got our image here. But let's just get back to the draft. As they say in cooking shows, here's one I made earlier. So I'm just going to paste a scene from my current work in progress. And I'm just going to, yes, let's look at the formatting now. And I will just make my beautiful little face a little smaller so it's not so much in the way. So here we've got this painter's palette here. So you would click that. And here you've got all these pre-made presets, but you could also import custom presets. And here you've got your advanced options. So you could change them as you would like. If that's something that you want to do, you want to fiddle with the details and you know what you're doing. Even if you don't know what you're doing, it's your prerogative to do what you want. And you could even upload your own font. So that would affect how it's actually going to look in the export. Let's see, what is this bit here for? So when we've got something chosen here, like if you click here with the chapter, there's nothing here, but let's click the scene. So you can see we've got 5,113 words. We got this many characters. You could label it as you want. Got these colors here. You can use them. Choose them how you need them. You got your status here. So you got to do, in progress, first draft, revised, final. And here is your synopsis. So you can write what happens in this scene. Obviously, you can use this to outline your novel. So here, just copy and paste this text because I already had it. But when I'm outlining, I would just add these scenes here and I would have this synopsis here. And you can also have additional notes or reminders here. So for example, when you're editing it, you can add remember to remove the mention to this and this thing here or something like that. You got your comments and also a snapshot. So for example, before you are going to start another round of edits, you could click here and create a new snapshot, maybe call it first draft, and you would be able to see them here and then you can restore them. So that is very useful. Speaking of saving, Deckle saves your work automatically, so you don't have to worry about saving it. But also what we got here, if you see this eye here, you can see what it's actually going to look like when it's been exported. The only thing here is that when you got this chapter page here, even though in the exported documents, the scene is going to start right from the chapter, but this doesn't yet have the capability of show that. So it's showing this as a separate page and then this. But if I had something here, here's where the story starts. It would applied here, so we can see according to our preset, but we could choose a different one, maybe this one. So you can see in real time what it's actually going to look like. So you don't need to keep exporting it to see what it's going to look like. And here you can see it on Kindle, iPhone, iPad, and print. So that is super useful. And then just, oh yes, if your scene is multiple pages, just click here to see the other pages and just click here to get back to these details. But let's see what else we've got here. So here we have the presets and here we've got the outliner. So as you can see, you got your chapter here, and if I make this unnested under it, there you would see these as separate things. But since it's inside that one, it's going to, what happened? It's going to show there. So I click this and then see there. Let's just add some more scenes. All right. Oh yes, you will see them here. You can also add them here. But let's click from here to get rid of this to get back to the normal view. So here's another scene. Let's call it the incident. Right. So we got 3 scenes here. Let's look at the outline now. So you can see they're there, and it's really easy to move them around. So sometimes you will need to do that when you're editing your novel. But if you were using Deckle to outline your novel, like I'm definitely going to do with my next novel, this one where I copy and pasted this from, it's almost finished. I find it very likely that I will finish it this year, so fingers crossed. But yeah, makes it very easy to organize these and plan and just see like where does everything go. But if you don't like this grid view, you can click here and then see it as a list view. And it's also easier to see everything there. So we've got the chapter there and then the scenes. And here you can add more of them. And here you can also see the status and stuff. If you had a synopsis written, like here, then you would be able to see it. So let's move me out of the way. Stuff happens for the first time! Exclamation point. So we would go back to the outline and you would see here what is happening in this scene. So that is very, very useful. And then we've got the continuous view. So here you will see all of your stuff, your scenes, chapters and stuff after the other, like you would in a Word document or something. So you can have some kind of a picture of the whole. But do bear in mind, if you click there, it's only going to choose the one that you had clicked there before coming into this view. So that's something to remember. You have to go away from here and then click from here again to have effect on what's showing here. So I would click from this to get to the normal view, and then I would have to click there for it to change what's in there. And let's look at the split editor next. So you would click here and then you would have another one here, and you're like, why would I need 2? But remember, we've got this research here. So what if we clicked on this picture? It'd be like, oh, okay, yes, I can now see this picture, I can refer to it. I just realized I was supposed to change this to the light view, and then I just never did. So hopefully you've been able to see everything up until now. I'm really sorry, I'm not starting this over. You can move this part as well to have more space here, and you could, if you need it more, just click here. You could have another one. Let's say you want to see another scene there, so you can do that, and then just click here to get rid of them. So that's what the split view is for. You can use it to easily refer to other parts of your documents or to your research or notes or whatever you have. And then we've got the codex. So this is another feature that is really cool to have, but you might not use it for every novel that you write. And you can definitely write a novel successfully without making character profiles and stuff. So you got your characters. Let's just click here, add character. So you can give them, you can have a picture here, you can have their role as in either the protagonist, antagonist, supporting the protagonist. They are some kind of minor character, but you can have your own roles here, so you don't have to just do what these are saying. And by default, you got like this appearance bit here, personality, motivation and goals, flaw, inner conflict, the lie they believe. These are different than what I would personally use here, but fortunately you can add your own section. So you can give it a section name and then field names, and then choose either a text field or a multi-line drop down. So many options there. You can add more images here and just any notes that you have. So this is really cool and flexible. You can use this as you want. Then you've got your locations. So let's have a new location. Got your description here. Again, you can choose types here, and then you can add your own. When you change these, you can also save them as a template, so you don't have to do the same thing all over again. add more sections here. And you've got your items. Let's look at what the item template looks like. So you get your description, powers, and origin. And then you get your custom thing here. So let's have let's click blank, and then you can, just choose what to call it, what it is, and you will find it here. So that is extremely useful for planning, especially if you get this like big sprawling world, or if characters are something that you do need to plan beforehand. For me, they're like, I see them inside my head, like they're real people. So I never really have the need to, write down what they're like. But I might use it for locations for my next story. I'm kind of thinking of writing about the Middle Ages. So yes, this is where you would find the codex and just click it again to get rid of it. And another very cool feature that will be useful if you need it, but you can also, decide not to use it, is the plot lines. So let's just add a plot line, and then you get this here. Let's just give it as much space as we can. We're going to need this sidebar in a minute though. So you could have you got your new plot line here, and if you click here, you get a new timeline event. So let's just have main character arrives, and then you get your story dates here. It will, like it says, it's shown when you hover this event on the timeline. So let's just say day 1, and then you've got these days here. You can also change what they are, but by default they are days. So let's just say this is day 1, and obviously since they arrive, it happens only on one day, and then you can link to a chapter or a scene. So it'd be arrival, and your characters, we obviously didn't give them proper names. So here's where you would find them. And click create event. So it goes here. I don't know what happens to that when you add something. It's probably a little glitch that will be dealt with later. But let's just add another one. Let's just call it, what was that thing that happened on Stardew Valley? So green rain. Let's say it starts on day 1 and it continues until day 5. And then we can see that these things, they happen here. Now you can also see the day 5 in there. And let's say we got something starting on day 2, and then you can see 1 day after green rain, or rather after it starts, but still. So yes, you can do that, and you can also move them around here so that it changes, and then these here will change accordingly. And if you click here, timeline settings, you can change the unit here, so automatically it's days, but you can change that. And you could add a calendar marker, so let's call it spring, and let's say it starts from day 1 and goes on to day 10. And yes, I think it adds it automatically. Yes, so now you can see here. You could use this to create your outline or to make sense of things, after you've written. Just use it how it works for you. And if this doesn't appeal to you, then you don't have to use it. It's very simple, but it's a very cool feature. I like it. Well, let's just, once again, if you click it here, it goes away and you get, back to your writing. But finally, let's see what we got here. So we've got search. So you can search for anything in your document. Very useful. Let's just say we're looking for Peggy. So we can see all mentions of Peggy here. You can, oh yes, that's how you close it. You can close it from there. By the way, here's your usual formatting options. In case I forgot to mention that, I probably did. And here it comes back. We can also close that one. So giving you space to write and to focus. And here we got your focus mode. So you only got your writing here, and just click X to get rid of it. And then you've got your writing stats. Exciting. These are obviously mostly useful when you're writing your first draft, because when you're editing, you might not be adding a lot of words, but you might still be doing a lot of work. You might even have fewer words, and that is just the nature of editing. But yeah, you've got your draft totals here, so how many words, characters, estimated print pages, very useful to know, estimated word pages. And then you can also choose count pasted text towards goals and activity stats. So, if I clicked that, then it will count all the stuff that we have copied and pasted. today, and you can see what has been going on today in the manuscript. So you've got your goals here. Currently they're off, but you could have a word goal or a time goal, how long you're going to write. You can have a writing sprint, so you can choose the time length here and then click start, and then you would see the countdown here. Here you've got your manuscript target if you want to have a word count target for the whole manuscript. And here you can see your history, you get your heat map here, breakdown of your writing activity today, this week, this month, last 30 days, etc. So if you're a fan of stats, that is a good feature to have. And lastly, let's move on to exporting. So let's say that this is now finished. Oh no, wait, one more thing. Remember the front matter and back matter pages. So let's see what we got here. So you've got the title page, copyright page, dedication, epigraph, foreword, preface, table of contents. So if you're going to need any of these, for example, if you're self-publishing. So it's very cool that they've got these templates here, so you don't have to be like, oh no, what's going to belong there? How do I make it look a certain way? So you got something like this here, not something like this, you get this here. And what else do they have? So like you've got your table of contents. It auto generates it when you export it. So it's going to have the chapter titles and the page numbers there. And for your back matter, you would have your about the author page, acknowledgements, also about the author, etc. So very useful stuff to have, and you don't have to worry about the formatting. It's all being done and thought of for you. But let's remove the title page because we don't have anything in there. So let's click here, and then you got export. So you can export your document as an EPUB or PDF or a Word document, and you got these options here. You can also go back to styles to edit these details. You've got your metadata, your title, subtitle, author, etc. and all kinds of useful options to have. You can choose if you're going to include the table of contents or whether you want scenes on a new page or not. And then let's just export it as a PDF for shits and giggles. So let's export and see what it's going to look like. And here it is. So it looks exactly like we thought that you would. So that is how you use Deckle to plan, write, and export your novel. I hope this little tutorial has been helpful. And don't hesitate to come back to my channel for more stuff all about writing. And I will see you in the next video or at the bookstore. Bye bye!